How to handle herpes jokes, right? Like, everywhere we turn, I know we are hearing them. Like, we hear them on Netflix shows, we hear them at work, we hear them with friends. Like, if we're drinking after somebody, like, oh, you don't have herpes, right? Like, things like that can really put a damper on the way that you feel about your herpes diagnosis. But instead of getting all worked up when people are asking or joking about herpes, right? You can choose to either completely ignore it, because in reality, when somebody is making a herpes joke, it has nothing to do with you. It has everything to do with how they are feeling about themselves and how uneducated they may be about the virus. So you could either choose to ignore it completely, or you could choose to educate them. And you can educate them without letting them know that you have herpes, but just by letting them know that the chances that they could have it are very high, and that, you know, they never know who's around them that may be struggling with something like this. So standing up for even other people who have herpes is going to make a ripple effect in not only your life, but in people's lives around you. Because some people don't even think like, oh, like somebody next to me may or may not have herpes. Or, you know, like I know, for instance, I'm sure that at one point I made a herpes joke, like not even knowing that, you know, it was so common. And I think that a lot of us get so upset about it because we haven't ourselves healed emotionally from our diagnosis. Because when we truly accept something inside of ourselves, nothing anybody else says can get you out of that alignment with yourself. However, when you haven't fully accepted it, you're going to start thinking like, do they know? Like, I don't even know what else you're going to start thinking, because I haven't thought those thoughts in a long time. I'm trying to come up with examples right now. However, understanding that it has nothing to do with you personally. Just like when we have other things going on, right? If we're judging somebody else on something, anytime we judge somebody else, or anytime somebody else is judging us or making jokes about something, it has nothing to do with the external factors. It has everything to do with the internal factors. And starting to take ownership over that and know that whatever they want to portray onto the world, like that has something more, that has more to say about what's going on inside of them than it does about what's going on inside of you. And once you start to accept yourself and know that your herpes diagnosis does not define you, and knowing that you have the ability to still put an end to the jokes without telling them that you have herpes. You can just simply start to inform them about different information about it, or whatever that may look like for you, or you can simply choose to ignore it, because a lot of people, you know, will continue to make these jokes regardless. And if you don't feel comfortable informing somebody, that's okay too. It's whatever you want to stand up for in your own power. So understanding that whenever somebody else is making a joke about something, it really has nothing to do with you, but it has something to do with what's going on inside of them. So if somebody says, if they're drinking after you or something, and they say, oh, you don't have herpes, do you? Something inside of them might be thinking like, I possibly could have herpes, or have something else, or whatever that may look like. And they're feeling insignificant, insecure in their own skin. And they're portraying that as, you know, making a joke about herpes, not realizing that it could be affecting anybody else around them. So taking ownership over how you react is the only tip that I suggest in how to start to handle these, because you cannot control what other people around you are saying. What you can control is where your thoughts go when somebody else is making these jokes. And one way to start to control that is just asking yourself, like, why is this triggering me right now? What is going on inside of me that is allowing this other person who has nothing to do with my life, or even if they have something to do with your life, like, why is their words or their jokes affecting you so much? And asking yourself these questions, getting honest with yourself, is going to help you understand that, again, anything anybody else says or does or whatever it may be, is a reflection of them, and it has nothing to do with you. So for us to start to be able to handle it, we need to stop letting other people's comments and words and thoughts affect us so personally, and understand like we have all we need inside of us. We don't need somebody else to stop making the herpes jokes. What we need to do is understand like why we're feeling the way we do when these herpes jokes are coming up. So that's all I got for you ladies today. If you have any questions about anything, please feel free to reach out to me, and I will talk to you later.